On this week's episode, to wear a mask or not on TV, what's the right etiquette? Reporters square off in a Twitter spat. Also, hiding on election day, how you can rent a room under a rock after casting your vote. And leaving behind dirty leftovers, another literal worst coming up.
It is good to be back for another episode of Anchors Away. I am Robert Burns, along with a voice who you have not heard before. We are bringing her out of hibernation, even though there's a story in this week's episode about hiding under a rock. She is my would-be co-anchor when I moved to Texas. It is former TV news anchor and reporter Sara Threadgill. Again, both of us former TV news anchors who now get to have some fun with the news. Subscribe for free on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or wherever you listen. We're all over the place, and we have been for a while. The episodes are also now going up on YouTube, so just search Anchors Away there. You can watch them, play them in the background as you wash your dishes or do whatever the heck it is that you want to do now, as we're in month 9 of being quarantined. Sara, how are you dealing with this?
Well, I'm on a whole different level than everyone else is, I'm sure, with quarantine. So I might be the wrong person to ask with that. We sold our house right when quarantine began. My husband had got a job offer and in another state, and we took it, and all of a sudden the world shut down. So we are living with in-laws, and we're stuffed into a 2,300 square foot house, and we have been since March, but we're barreling through. So I know my experience is quite different than everyone else's.
So a little bit of background here. As I mentioned earlier, Sara and I actually were supposed to work together. And we actually interviewed together for the 2 anchor jobs at the station I worked at in Waco, Texas. They flew us in there. They talked to us both, and it wasn't the right time for Sara, if I recall, but I remember we had a lovely dinner. We hung out. We were going to be best friends, and then you left me. You did not take the job, and I was in Waco for 2 years, and of course they hired someone else, and it was a wonderful 2 years. Obviously, I left. But Sara, talk a little bit about what your career background is with this, and leading up to this point where you're with us.
Yeah, so I'm a Texas native, Central Texas native. So the whole Waco move would have been easy peasy for me. It just having a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old at the time, it just didn't quite feel like it was time to head back into the TV world. And you and I know that the time constraints working in television news is it's a lot. And so I had to consider that, and it's just not the right time, but we would have been a great pair. I just know it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we're getting to do this together. But my background started out as a newspaper reporter. I was in print and in college, and one of my first jobs as a newspaper reporter, and then made the switch over into television, and was at a station in Waco for almost 5 years as a reporter and then weekend anchor, and then made my way down to the Austin area. So I worked for a station in Austin, and loved every minute of that. It was so fun. And I've gone into political PR ever since then. So I got out of TV. What did they say? The dark side. I went to the dark side.
You came to the dark side, yes.
Yes, I did. But my heart's always been in television. It still is. And, I know I'm not the only TV veteran who's gotten out that misses it. There's things you don't miss, obviously, but definitely miss it a lot. And it's in my bones, and it always will be.
Yeah, so anybody out there who's listening to the show, if this is your first time, just happens to be, that you are listening to Anchors Away, go back. You can listen to the very first episode where it was both myself and Norma Holland, and we both talked about how we decided, or how we got to the point where we decided to walk away from life in front of the cameras and now have switched over to the other side. Now, you may have mentioned, that's the first time I've mentioned Norma in a couple of weeks. That is because she has accepted a new job and she doesn't have the whole lot of time to put towards the show anymore between her 2 kids and a brand new position. So Sara is the new half of the show here. So she's going to be carrying this along with me. And I am so excited because I had reached out and I had completely forgot about you. No offense. Happens.
Oh,
I completely forgot about you. And when I was looking for someone to come and join the show with me, I realized once you and I started talking and I saw your name, we have to have been destined and in fate to do something like this together, to be some sort of co-team in a broadcast capacity. And so now here we are. And for that welcome, I am going to let you do a lot of the work in this show just to kind of break you in and jump on in here.
Awesome.
But before we get to our first news story, of course, we want to start with one of our first intro songs. All right, so let's talk about this for a little bit. Have you watched local news since you got out of local news?
Pretty much every day.
Okay, I'm the complete opposite. I try not to watch this. I've touched on that because I judge too much and I critique too much. One of the things that I probably would critique a lot on, and I know you have, is when you're watching and you can see, whether it's local or national, some people have masks, some people don't have masks. You found an article, I don't know if it's an article, but it's just someone's observation where now the people who should be wearing them are kind of going back and forth on what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah. This article or story, what have you, it's a reporter calling out other reporters saying, don't wear your mask. It's not necessary. You're likely at a live shot where no one's around you. Take off the mask and just get back to normal. Now, that obviously started kind of a Twitter storm with other reporters coming to this particular reporter's defense. And I understand it. I can't imagine being in the position that reporters are in right now, having to be out in the field. And, you might be in a situation where no one's around, and that's okay. But more than likely, you're going to be in an area that's busy. And I say, wear the mask. I say, everyone wear the mask. I'm a mask fan. I'm pro mask.
Do you have,
if it were me, I'd wear the mask.
Do you have a novelty mask? Do you have like a bunch of them that can go with your wardrobe? What's your mask selection like right now?
Oh, yes. So I did start out and I've lost it and I am just sick over it. It's a Texas flag mask. I mean, being a Texan, you got to have that Texas pride. And I made sure that pretty much the first mask I got was a big Texas flag and I cannot find it anymore. But, for on air, though, I think something very simple.
Yeah.
The whole goal is not to distract, I guess.
Yeah, and looking at this, it looks like the Fox News reporter, Adam Housley, is the one who said crazy watching local news. They're wearing them with no one around. Looks funny and is false hustle. I don't know about that narrative. But then someone I am familiar with, Nicole Insalata, who is a fantastic reporter out of Miami. She works over at WSVN. And she's a total rock star. She replied back saying she's a little disappointed in that. They have to be close to people. They're screaming. They're not wearing a mask. And it's ridiculous to just include local reporters. So here's my thought on this. Tell me if I'm stupid. It's okay. Not going to be the first time. Not going to be the last. But I don't mind either way. The only thing I mind is, as a consumer now of watching television, I want to see either the entire station wearing it or the entire station not wearing it. However you want to do it. But if I see one person wearing it, and you and I both know, you're standing there, and for people who don't know what it's like, when you're doing a live shot, and probably now, especially at night, you're not going to be in a super crowded area. You might be out there at a street corner by yourself. Your photographer can be 6 feet away from you. It's fine. If there's people around you, put it on. I get that. But I just want to see the consistency, I think, in the leadership and telling them, wear it or don't. And same thing goes for any other business, I think. Are we wearing them when we're inside or are we not wearing them when we're inside? I think everyone is, but, you all kind of make your own decisions on that.
Yeah, and I think that's where any type of vague mentality on that can stir up some trouble. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in disagreement with that, and I'm curious. Any reporter friends and anchor friends listening to this, has your station mandated a policy on whether you wear it in the field, whether you don't for live shots? I don't think many in the studio will wear it for a live shot, but if they're out in the
Yeah.
field, so I'm curious. I've seen several of my friends, including those who now are national correspondents for network TV, still wearing the
Mm-hmm.
mask. So it looks like even network is, I guess, pushing for it.
Have you ever called out another reporter in your own market?
No, I've been called out.
Elaborate on this a little bit. What did you do?
Oh, yeah. See, I didn't think I did anything wrong. Is
Of course
the
not.
issue?
Of course not.
It was actually at a murder suicide in a little community in the Central Texas area, and it was early morning. We had all gotten called in early for it, and so early in the morning, nobody's out yet. It's in a community, it's in a neighborhood, a bunch of houses, but nobody's out yet. And so, as reporters, you're trying to get that neighbor interview.
Mm-hmm.
Did
Mm-hmm.
you hear anything? What kind of people were these people? And so all of a sudden, somebody walks out to get his trash, and a reporter who was new to the market, not my station, the market, was probably about 15, 20 feet in front of me. And we spotted him at the same time. She just didn't know that I spotted him because I was behind her.
Mm-hmm.
So we all took off after this guy. And of course, ambushed the poor guy.
Oh.
Willingly, he did an interview with us, of course. But afterwards, she came up to me and got in my face and was like, "Don't ever jump in on an interview like that again." And I was like, "Whoa, welcome to the market,
Who are
sweetheart."
you?
Yes, yes. And I'm like, she had no clue. Like, we all saw him at the same time. All the stations were there on the same interview. But yeah, that's the only time I've ever been called out. But no, I'm not the type to call out. We each um, where they're hustling. Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
hustling. It's
Mm-hmm.
a hustling kind of position, and unless someone's just totally a jerk, you got to understand we're just hustling to get the job done.
Did you give her that passive aggressive, excuse me, honey? Like put a honey at the end of it? Because that is the most passive aggressive thing that a woman can say. That
Gave
and
her
I'm
the
fine.
Yeah, no, give her the Southern bless your heart.
Oh man,
No,
that's a straight insult.
no, I brushed it off, but steered clear of that one from then on.
Probably a smart move. Now we are going to steer clear in a whole other direction for our second story of the week. All right, we do want to thank our sponsor for this show, Anchor. It's the easiest way for us to bring you the podcast. They give us everything we need, it's all in one place, and most importantly, it's all free. Everything on our iPhones, on our iPads, on our computers, all the creation tools to edit, it's all included, and they distribute the show for us. Send it to Spotify, send it to Apple, send it to Google. So you can start your own podcast, get in on the game, download the Anchor app, or go to anchor.fm to get started. So, I'm just going to start the music on this. So I was thinking the other day, and coincidentally, before I even read the story, I was thinking the other day about the last time I stayed at a hotel. And for me, it was in February. Surprisingly enough, I had stayed in a hotel right before all of this stuff happened. I had a wedding to go to. I was a guest, and it was in Minneapolis, and I stayed at the hotel that was attached to what is it, the basketball arena for the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Target Center. And I had a great time, and I stayed at that hotel, and I loved it. And that was the last time. And now I can't foresee another time when I can be at a hotel, when I can travel. I can't foresee it in my short-term future, and
I
it's
know.
sad. It's sad.
It is sad.
And
It's sad. I
so
miss traveling.
there is one thing, though, that kind of catches my attention. It's Hotels.com. Of course, it's in the name. They will literally let you live under a rock on election day. And I think there are going to be some takers for this. And I love the idea. I love this idea because there's just so much nonsense going. There's so much politics right now. I don't even want to be on social media anymore. A lot of people don't. I don't care who you're voting for. You don't give a damn who I'm. It's fine. Let's do our thing.
If there was ever an election, this would be the election to just go bury yourself under a rock.
Stick your head in the sand, do your thing, and go away. I would be down for this because Hotels.com, they are offering a 5-night stay inside of a cave that is 50 feet underground. You can stay there from November 2nd, Election Day, to November 7th. November 3rd is Election Day, so the night before, whatever.
Yeah.
So you go there, and you can stay there for a week. It's a Flintstone-style B&B. It's in Farmington, New Mexico, which I don't even know where Farmington, New Mexico is. Sarah's doing this on Skype with a giant map behind her. She would take a second to probably find where Farmington, New Mexico is.
I'm Googling. I'll do that.
That's close enough. But it's only $5 a night. I got $5 a night. I got $25. Go ahead.
Like I said, any election prior to this, people seem a little bit less tense. This one has everyone completely on edge. So I definitely like this idea of just being able to disconnect from what's going on after you vote, though. So
right, early vote, your mailed-in ballot's fine.
There you go. Head out and just go detach for a little bit. And once you come out of your hotel hole, then see who's president.
Well, and the thing is, you don't have to be completely cut off. The property is advertising free Wi-Fi, so you can still, refresh your internets, and you can see who won or who's winning. You can even stream it, but you can stream it away from everybody else. But if you really want to stay away from the, election news, just put your phone away, turn it off, go stay inside. I don't know about 5 nights inside of a cave, but I'd have to bring a lot of board games. There would be Monopoly, some Yahtzee. I would wreck you in some Uno if we're sitting there in a cave for 5 days. Trust me, I'm getting good at something.
One of those 1,000-piece puzzles.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Goodness. This place is amazing. I mean, you could just get out and hike for the rest of the day during it. So, I say, and it's a contest. Is that correct?
Well, it's a kind of a first come, first serve type thing, and I think it's already been and they're promoting it as election burnout, live under a rock, and I think it's already been rented out because there's only one opening for it, and the property is available on a first come, first serve basis to the fastest finger. They gave a link, and they rented it out likely Friday, October 9th. So it's already gone. But look at the pictures in this, and we'll have the link to this in the show notes. There's the bedroom. It's got a lazy boy in there. It looks like a shower built inside underneath the cave. You got a hot tub. Cozy. Yeah, it looks like you're at a cabin is what it kind of looks like. And one of the funny pictures here though is everyone's shadow on the cave wall, which makes it look like they are drawings from cavemen on the wall that are left behind. Wow. And so I would give it a shot. I don't know. Again, I don't know about 5 days. I might rent it for 2 or 3 and then get the hell out and go to the hot springs in New Mexico or something like that. But for $5 a night, I think I would be on top of that and it'd be a fun little getaway. My question is, would you be able to live with the kids under a rock for 5 days a week?
I think quarantine has allowed me to see that I can pretty much live with my children in any situation because we are together, 24/7. My oldest is in first grade and he's doing remote virtual school. So we're together all the time. So I actually think maybe getting out to an underground cave would be a little fun. The walls are rock. They can't tear anything up necessarily. So just go and have a good time. I'm a little jealous whoever snagged that. And talk about Albuquerque Market or even Grand Junction. There's you a story for just a fun little story for Election Day.
Yeah, I mean, how many times are you ever going to really have the chance to go and say that we lived in a cave for a couple of days while the rest of the world was tearing each other's face off?
Oh, let's hope that's not the case, though.
I would like to know, though, how do you get pizza in the cave? I got to know where the entrance is.
It looks so remote. I doubt there's a pizza place. I think you're just gonna be doing some DiGiorno.
I'll be sitting there eating s'mores for about 4 days at a time. I
Yeah,
don't. I
come
mean,
out to
I
the
want
mountain
some.
here.
Yeah, I don't know what New Mexico's finest cuisine is, but I think I would have to try out some stuff. I'm not hunting. I'm not hunting it. That's not me. Not a hunting guy. People look at my pictures, go on Facebook, go on Instagram. I'm not a hunter. Not happening. That's why when you put a lazy boy in a cave, then you pique my interest at that
There
point.
you go. Yeah, that's why you were drawn to
That's
this
probably
story.
that's
I
probably the
didn't know.
reason why. All right, so now we are moving on to something we like to call the literal worst.
The tradition of Festivus begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
Sarah, I'm giving you your first airing of the grievances because you got a little fired up on this earlier.
I did. I love that Festivus for the rest of us. My fave. So my grievance, I guess you would say, right now, I think it's just because, we're all packed into my in-laws' house and everybody's together, and we've done an amazing job the last 6 months of working together and taking care of the house together and everything. So I would say that my grievance is probably something that other people have. And I've had this even before we moved in with my in laws. It's just something my husband does, and it drives me bonkers, is to maybe eat a bowl of yogurt and then just set the bowl on the counter by the sink. Just set it there. And then it gets crusty and it gets hard. And then when I go to do the dishes, or whoever has to do the dishes later, then you spend 10 minutes scrubbing one bowl that could have easily been washed out.
That's
That's my
the
grievance.
literal worst.
The
Is
literal worst to me.
crusty yogurt. Well, I mean, and I can't even justify because yogurt is one of those things where it comes out cold and you got to eat it cold. You don't eat it warm. It's not one of those I'll get to it later type things from a guy's standpoint.
No. And it's, oh goodness, it's just so easy to turn on the water, run it a little bit over the dish, set it in the sink.
Have you
But
gotten into an argument on this?
well, not necessarily an argument, but it's definitely something I'll point out every time he does it. I'm like, hey, bowl, sink, rinse, and good Lord, I know there's a million things I do that drive him nuts, but I would say for me, that's one of the literal worst right now because, it's just trying to maintain a house full of people and I'm sitting there scrubbing dishes. It makes me crazy.
That's absolutely fair. I can't say that I don't leave it on the counter. Here's what I will do. I will take it. I will put it in the sink and I'll splash a little water on there and it's fine. Problem is, I won't load it in the dishwasher until I realize I don't have any dishes left. It's like when you use up all the underwear and you're like, oh no, now I got to do a wash or I don't leave the house today. You have to
Uh,
make a choice, one of those two. And
Such a
so
man. Such a man.
I know, I know. If I were anything else though, you wouldn't love me.
Such a man mentality. That's funny. I'm not even asking put it in the dishwasher. Just rinse it off so I'm not having to scrub it later.
Just
But that's
splash a
okay.
little. Just
Yeah.
fake it. Come on. At least put a little effort into the game if you're going to do it, right, guys?
Yeah, even just put it in the sink. Just to get in the sink would be an accomplishment. So I know
And
he's
you,
going to listen to this later and just roll his eyes, but
and that's okay. Hopefully he agrees with me. He's like, "Yeah, look, we got plenty of bowls. It's fine. We'll just buy more bowls. It's okay. It works out just fine." The literal
totally
worst. I I
literal worst.
I love the chance to just vent about little things, about nothing, really. That's all it is. It's our opportunity and our chance to just complain about the stupid things because now we've been home for 10 months and we're noticing them and they
Yes.
become so much more amplified now.
Yes. And that, and I'm sure as we proceed with this, there's going to be things that I will find the literal worst in watching local TV news. I guarantee
Hmm.
I'm going to have a few of those now that my brain is functioning and working right now. I'm already thinking of some. So, yes, there will be more.
All right. I have had a blast with you for this week's episode on your first one in this new journey that we're going on together. So how does it feel? How'd you feel with it?
Fun. It was just a blast, and like I said, when you get into TV news, it just kind of seeps into your bones, and it's hard to it's hard to let go of. So, in a way, this itch is a scratch for me, and I've just enjoyed reminiscing a bit, and then they're getting to vent on my dirty dishes.
Well, we'll be able to do more venting next week. We'll have more stories next week. For anyone out there who wants to follow Sara, you can find her online at...
Oh, goodness. So many places. It's usually just my name. But I also have a page, Sara Threadgill Media, that I will be making a lot more active on Facebook. So Sara Threadgill Media on Facebook. And then I don't know, come find me on Instagram. My name's pretty easy to find.